Alright, so this is just going to be steps number 1 and 2 for the lab on creating a resume in Microsoft Word. And I've already, if you looked at the other video, gone over how this lab is structured with the columns and with the contents. So we're just going to launch straight into steps 1 and 2. So opening Microsoft Word. Now if you take a look at these instructions, I give you a couple of ways to do it. One is on your computer and one is here online. Because if you have Microsoft Office 365, you can do everything just with your browser. But first let's take a look at opening it on your computer. So you come down here, this is the start icon in the bottom left corner of your screen, and you will click on that. And you have a couple of choices. You can either just type Word here immediately, just W-O-R-D, and then you'll see up here it says Word App, and you can click on that. The other thing that you can do when you click on this Start App is you see all of these apps here in alphabetical order, A, B, C. It's under W for Word. Sometimes people forget whether it's under Microsoft or under Word. It's under Word. So you just scroll down, TUVW, and there it is right there. So go ahead and click on Word. And then this is what comes up. You have this sort of entrance window, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new document. If you had already started working on your document on your resume, then it would show up under here under recent. You can also pin them. That's what the pinned is. I don't happen to have any that are pinned, but you can pin them to your list. And the way you do that is you just right click on one and then it says pin to list, and you can left click on that. What a left click does is select something. What a right click does is usually brings up a menu of things that you can choose. So I'm not going to pin this one just because I'm working on a new one. So I'm going to click on blank document, and now we have our brand new Word document. And if we take a look back at the instructions, step 1 was open it, and step 2 is that we're going to give it a name. So we're going to click File, Save As. So let's go ahead back to our document. Okay, we're just going to push File, Save As. And the reason we're not doing Save right now is because even if you did press Save the very first time that you're saving a document, it comes to Save As anyway. I'll show you why that happens. So once again, File. This time I'm just going to click on Save. See how we wound up in Save As anyway? So you really can't mess up this particular step. I just have you doing Save As because that's where you're supposed to do it the very first time if you're going to select where you're going to save your document. So clicking on Save As. I happen to keep my documents in a OneDrive cloud location, and it's under my address. I'll be fuzzing that out. Your location may be different. It probably is. You may be saving things to your computer under the folder called My Documents. I don't recommend that you save things on your desktop. It just gets cluttered, and if your computer ever crashes, a lot of backup devices don't back up the desktop. So go ahead and put it in My Documents. If you have a cloud location, so if you have Microsoft 365, it came with OneDrive. So you're going to want to use that. So I'm going to click on my OneDrive, and I'm going to give it a name. And if you look back at the lab, it just says to enter your file name here. I usually like to just have my name in the resume and then say resume, because I don't want to have to change the name of it when I send it to people. And if you include your name in the resume file name, then it makes it easier for the people who you are sending your resume to tell the difference between your resume and somebody else's resume. So don't just title your resume, resume. Make sure it includes your name, at least your last name. All right, so let's go ahead and go back and do that. All right, so where you're going to do that is right up here. And it says enter file name here, so we will. So click enter file name here, and I'm going to write Deborah Abrams resume. Now, Right now I have said I want it on OneDrive, but I haven't said where in OneDrive. That's where this More Options link comes in. You can click on More Options, and then up comes Windows File Explorer. This is just a typical window that Windows pulls up, and I'm going to decide where I want it. So right now it says it's going to this PC, even though I clicked on that, so I'm glad I'm paying attention. All right, so I'm going to click on OneDrive, and then I'm going to click on Documents, and see I'm under OneDrive. These are all my folders under there. I'm going to click on Documents, and you'll see that I have an MSJC. By the way, I have a lot of folders. One of the ways I keep the absolute most important folders to me at the top of my list is I give it a name, but then I put a number in front of it in the order I want it to show up. And then I can just sort my folders by alphabetical order, and the most important ones are at the top, and then all the rest are just alphabetized normally. So I'm going to open MSJC. All right, I'm just going to save it here. So I just click on Save, and that's the name it's going to get. Okay, and it just brings us right back here. I didn't click on anything else. It just brings us right back here, and you can see the name of your document up here. Now, one of the things that you need to be aware of for Microsoft Word in the new version, this 365, is that it automatically saves itself. So in the old days, like 5 to 10 years ago and older, you had to constantly come up here and click on the Save button, or you could lose all your changes if something happened. Now it does save it automatically. So whatever changes you make are already permanent. So keep that in mind if you use a document and then use it to create a new document just like it. In the old days, you could just overwrite the old document, and as long as you hadn't hit Save yet, you could go in at any point and click Save As and give it a new name, and your old document was still just fine, exactly the way it originally was. Now, if you go in there and you start changing an old document, even though you want to keep that old document, you start changing it with things for the new document, as soon as you start making those changes, your new document is now being saved over your old document. And even if you do a Save As 10 minutes later, your old document still has all of those new changes. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind if you're used to using Word the old way, is that now all changes are saved immediately. All right, so that's the end of step 2. You have your document, you've named it, and that's all you had to do here.